The continuing mystery of the Harris campaign's runaway spending and unpaid debts. If there was, if this was a Republican that ran a campaign like this, had 1.5 billion dollars, just ran through it, and then ended up in $20 million in debt, the mainstream media would be all over this. They were talking about incompetence, how anyone else is poor, anyone else be able to manage a little bit better, you know. But the mainstream media is just silent, except for Fox News. The mainstream media is silent on how her campaign just went through all that money. And then this was someone that you were gonna pick as the president of the United States. What do you think she would have done to our tax dollars? You know, no one spends spend money like with other people's money, and that's especially true when it comes to Democrats. So we're gonna talk about this, but before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. Has a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my X account, so follow me there as well. All right, so let's get into this news. Now, this comes from the National Review. Oops, sorry, scroll is all jacked up. I don't know what's going on here. Here we go. From Jim Garrity, and he reports that, did the Harris presidential campaign end with $20 million in debt or not? Back on November 12th, News Nation, among other outlets, reported that the Kamala Harris campaign is now $20 million in debt. The following day, Axios reported that Democratic National Committee leaders feared getting stuck with the bill, warning, quote, debt beyond a few $1 million could hamper the Democratic National Committee's efforts to rebuild the party over the next 4 years. Then, on November 18th, the Harris campaign's chief financial officer issued an adamant statement to the New York Times, insisting that the campaign did not end with any debt. He said Patrick Stafford, the campaign's chief financial officer, said in a statement that there has been no outstanding debt or overdue bills as of Election Day. He said that, quote, there will be no debt on the next Democratic National Committee and Harris for President campaign filing in December. Donations made after the election to the Harris Fight Fund are being funneled to the Democratic National Committee, officials said. So if that's the case, how come you have people that worked on her campaign talk about they're not getting paid, and they had like a GoFundMe to pay some of these staffers that hasn't been getting paid? So what's going on there? Excuse me. And then you have the vendors. A lot of vendors coming out and complaining, saying that they aren't getting paid. So both can't be true. Someone's lying here. But now Politico reports that Harris's fundraising emails keep coming 2 or 3 times per day, approaching 1 month since the election, because, quote, Harris' operation ended with around $20 million in debt, according to 2 people familiar with her campaign finances and granted anonymity to speak freely. So what's really going on here? You know, why do they continue to keep haggling people for money? Because the debt, of course. But the same article also reports, quote, the Harris campaign denies that the campaign or affiliated joint fundraising committees had outstanding debts on Election Day, and says they won't report debts owed in the future Federal Election Commission reports due in December. But someone is lying. First, if you were an unpaid volunteer for the Harris campaign or any affiliated progressive group, wow, did you get screwed? Some big shots were lining up their own version of generational wealth from this campaign, and you have the Harris team your own hard work for nothing. I'm sorry, you gave the Harris team your own hard work for nothing. What a sucker you were. Right? Can you imagine not getting paid after all your hard work? Second, every Democratic donor should be as irate as James Carville and call for an audit of the campaign in every affiliated group. I did a whole video on that when he talked about it, the DNC needs to be audited, which I agree with. It will never happen, but I definitely agree with that because there's so much fraud and money laundering going on at the DNC. There's no way they would come out looking good from an audit. So they would never ever do an audit of the DNC. But when you throw in all of the money raised by the Biden campaign before Harris took over, the combined Democratic presidential campaigns, not counting super PACs or separate like-minded groups, raised more than $2.15 billion. How could they possibly have unpaid debts at the end of the campaign? Remember, the Biden campaign raised and spent a bit more than $1 billion in the 2020 cycle. Where did all the money go? The Political article also features this hilarious excuse, quote, a Harris campaign official emphasized that the campaign is not asking any universe of donors for more than they were given before the election. Why would any donor be expected to give more after the race was over? And even if a donor was feeling particularly spent thrift, why would they donate more to a campaign that lost? Yeah, the election is over. It makes no sense that you would continue asking for funds. This originally said trillion. I know it only felt like the Biden and Harris campaign spent $1 trillion, so they must have edited. They said $1 trillion earlier. That's just an editorial note, I guess. But it's just crazy that now they're trying to come out and pretend like they're not, like they're not in debt, like they don't have $20 million in debt. But the thing is, the final numbers will be coming out soon in December this month, which is now December. So it's going to be coming out, and then they're not going to be able to hide it and lie about the debt and the unpaid vendors and unpaid workers and all that stuff. You're not going to be able to hide it soon because we're going to be able to look at all of the numbers. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Do you think they really are in debt, or you think they're not? Leave your comments down below. Like, share, subscribe, and check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.